From the edge of Music City, on the air and over the web, this is Music City Roots, live from the Loveless Cafe. I'm Keith Bilbrey, welcoming you to our weekly radio showcase for the finest roots in Americana music from and passing through Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to the Loveless Barn, music fans, and we know why you're listening. And it would be Nashville's hottest new radio station, Hippie Radio 94.5 FM. We're proud to be your live and local airwaves. Yes, we are jamming tonight. Thanks also to the Loveless Cafe for the legendary biscuits and chicken. And the buffet for our musicians, supporters, and crew. Thanks to our sponsors, including Blackstone Beer, who brings you our lineup of artists each week. Let's give them all a great big hand. And now, without delay or ado, that's what it says, ado, 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 ado. Let's get some music, and who better than our host, an artist, and an ambassador, Jim Lauderdale.
Yes! Thank you, Keith Bilbrey. Well, hi, folks. Hey, I just flew in from Los Angeles, and boy, are my arms tired. But anyway, to kick things off tonight, Keith, Buddy Miller and I were out there playing in California, and we got nominated for a couple of Americana Awards yesterday, so we're real happy about that. So anyway, when I tried to do this song first, back in the fall, I came in from this torrential rainstorm, and I was soaking wet. So I want to reprise this song. It's one off of the record Buddy and Jim that we did. It's not always fun and games. You ride the wave and people change. I guess you did, and I did too. I lost the job of loving you. We had a thing, we had a vibe. I made it like a 9 to 5. Planned the wrong future through. I lost the job of loving you. You start to mix your work with play. All sorts of things get in the way. To cross that line into the blue, I lost the job of loving you. A man will live and make mistakes. I'll have to live with what I made. It kills me that I'm such a fool. I lost the job of loving you. I've got the time to second guess. I'll get by on less and less. So many days to think it through. I lost the job of loving you. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. And welcome to Music City Roots, live from the Loveless Barn. And did everybody meet our own star of the airwaves, Keith Bilbrey? Meet Keith, everybody.
Thank you. Hey, I got to ask you, can you draw unemployment on that if you lose the job of Loving you.
That's a good question. I'm going to have to, that's a very good question.
I'd like to know.
And across the stage, he puts the quest
That's him.
back into questions. He's an author and a blogger. Our interview guy, Mr. Craig Havighurst.
Yeah!
Thank you, Jim, very much. Love the way you say that. Good to see y'all. Congratulations on the nomination.
Thank you.
It is a great album, that Buddy and Jim record. That is one of the albums of the year, whatever else happens. That is a superb piece of work.
Appreciate it.
Proud to work with you each week. Guys, a lovely night. We're getting some great weather here for our spring season at the Loveless Barn. And thanks for joining us on a balmy night. We got some balmy music. This is a really nice lineup. The Blackstone Brewery lineup this week is full of some bands, a little extra texture. Nobody's gonna get pummeled with volume or big amplifiers, though we have some very cool vintage gear on stage, I noticed. And we're gonna close the night out with a band. I want you to all remember how this band's name is pronounced when you leave tonight, because you're gonna want to follow them over the years. And they are called Seryn. Everybody say it. Seryn. All right, they're great. From the little tiny music city of Brooklyn, we've got Annie and the Beekeepers here. Right on, right on. Band I've wanted to hear live for a long time. Annie's a real lifer, and we're going to hear her music. And we've got a songwriter and a guitar player who comes with highly recommended Brian Ashley Jones. And a fantastic East Nashville duo. They're more than a duo. They brought a big band, but the band is a duo, and we're going to hear from them. Los Colognes.
Yeah.
Coming at you. And boy, we gotta get the night started.
We sure do, folks. Our first guest tonight was a journeyman musician and truck driver for decades before he made his debut album, The Mighty King of Love, in 2000. That became an instant classic with songs as poignant as they were funny. He's still one of the wisest, wittiest, and most surprising songwriters alive. We're excited to kick things off tonight with the great Phil Lee.
Thank you very much. Hey, Craig, did you say there was a cool midget here tonight? Is that what I heard? There ain't nothing for me to kick here. I'm small, but I'm scrappy. This is from a new movie. It's coming out in the fall. Got Johnny Depp in it, Morgan Freeman, Clint Eastwood. Not really. You call me the king of love. Don't I wish I were? I wouldn't even call myself a gifted amateur. I am the king of a nothing. I'm mostly skin and bone. And of all of the broken hearts I broke, I mostly broke my own. You don't have to tell me. I know when it hurts. I myself been abused, you see. I've been tortured by experts. You like them simple answers. Yeah, well, those I don't know. I know you expect a little better than that from the mighty king of love. Your true blue boy with his big brown eyes, yeah, he treats you pretty well. I know if he asks you to, you will follow him through hell. You followed him down a lead mine road, even that old crooked trail. I believe if they arrested him, you'd do his time in jail. But you don't have to tell me. I know why you here. So much about you baffles me. This does not, it's clear. Like hearing them crying, knowing he's spying from a window of above. Are there no surprises left for the mighty king of love? Said I was the prince of thieves, that I stole a heart from you. Now well, somebody here is dreaming that somebody just might be you. So you know I'm not that slippery, baby, nor am I that strong. like to say how right you are, but I cannot. You're wrong. You're never gonna hear me say what you already know to be true. I don't even try no more tonight to keep loving you. I just put you on the old back burner and think about other stuff. That should not be so difficult for the mighty king of love. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a highly trained professional. That's Jim Lauderdale's doing that. He's sabotaging my whole career. The beautiful human being. That one working? Jan King on the guitar. She's what we call an expert. That's some guy from out of town. From a brand new album, The Fall and Further Decline of the Mighty King of Love. Could use some foot stomping. Said every time I hear you call my name, well, every time I hear you call my name, well, every time you call my name, I want to shoot myself. That's a crying shame every time, every time, and every time I look upon your face, well, every time I look upon your face. Every time I see your face, I start to hate the entire human race. Every time, every time. Oh, go ahead. Every time I hear a lonesome train, every time I hear a lonesome train, every time I hear a lonesome whistle blow, won't leave and not come back no more. Every time, oh, every time. I said every time I look into your eyes, well, every time I look into your eyes, every time I look into your eyes, I see rotting meat and buzzing flies. Every time, every time, and every time I chance to see you nude, honey, every time I chance to see you nude, every time I see you nude, I wanna give your number to another dude. Every time, every time. Oh, yeah. Keith asked me not to do that one. So it's a class joint we got here, and it's been going on now for, what, 17 years, this show, right? I'd like to bring out another singer. She just got off the road with Sam Moore from Sam and Dave. Is she done with that young feller in Los Colognes yet?
No, definitely not.
Somebody...
She needs one more minute.
I think she's been into my pill collection again. Everybody gets one. I didn't bring enough for the whole house. These are my singing pills. I wrote this with the great Barry Goldberg. He was in the Electric Flag Band, and he was in Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. And he wrote, I'm going to use my imagination for Gladys Knight and the Pips. But mostly he's famous for taking the hatchet away from Bob Dylan before... no, he took the hatchet away from Pete Seeger. He was going to chop Bob Dylan's head off with it. True story. I have skeptics even on my stage. I hated to see you go. When you left, I said at last, I gave you 20 bucks for gas. It felt good to say goodbye. It felt good to hear you cry. About a million tears. You can help them if you want to. It was music to my ears. Yeah, you cried. I said cry some more. But you know, baby, I hate it. See you go. As I watched your tail lights fade, I said, now by God, I'm gonna have it made. I'll find me another woman, maybe 2 or 3, but appreciates a good man like me. Yeah, you cried, how the tears did fall when I said, baby, I don't love you, not now, if I ever did at all. Yeah, you cried. I set your suitcase by the door, but I hate it. See it all. Oh, I hate it. See you go. I scanned our photographs. It seems all we ever did was smile and laugh and act. The thing of all I could have said, but I smiled and told you, honey, go ahead, cry. Let the rain come down. I'll feel much better with you not around. I said, cry, 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 cry. But I hate it, oh, 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 to see you go. Oh, I hate it, see you go. Oh, I hate it. see you go. Is that all right? That ain't the right harmonica, though. That Jim Lauderdale has done it to me again. Jim is playing the Troubadour this weekend. I used to play there when I was a little bitty feller. Me and Doug Weston. I like your big brown eyes, the way you wear your hair, the way you paint your toes, and baby, I like the clothes you wear. When you take the clothes off, I like what's under there. I like the way you twist, I like the way you hug, I like the way you kiss, the way you jitterbug. Never made it plain. I like everything. I like everything. Everything you do, everything you don't. Well, I like that too. When you call my name, I like everything. Oh. I like the way you cry. I like the way you smell. I like the way you smile. Baby, I like the lies you tell. I like your big fat brain. I like everything. I like the way you talk. Oh, that Yankee talk. I like the way you hang on. Every time you walk. Never made it plain. I like everything. I like everything. Well, everything you do, the way you break my heart, well, I like that too. I like it ling, ting, tang. I like everything. We don't want to go. We gotta go. Is it over? You got a blank look on your face, lady. Is it over? I need to know this. Well, everything. I like everything. Well, everything you do. The way you break my heart. Well, I like that too. Well, when you call my name, baby, I like everything. Bop, 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 bop. I don't know. Thank you kindly. Is that 20 minutes? Somebody's supposed to tell me these things. I'm a sick little old man. You're leaving me up here not knowing what the heck is going on. Is that how you get your kicks out here at the Loveless Cafe? No? How about 2 more, 3 more? Hell, he got me off my deathbed to come here and do this. Damn people. This is one I wrote back when I was a little bitty boy, back in New York City, back when they were writing songs about like this.
You were big with them.
Forgive me for not writing it so long. I have been sick in my room. I guess you know that's not quite true. It's just that with her gone, she's gone. I've been thinking more about you. I haven't forgotten you. Oh, baby, anything like that, you really must believe me when and I say things here there about the same. Me and the boys, we're going under another name. We're living in this ghost town now, where the hollow creatures lurk. You remember poor James, the blue flames. Now they're calling themselves the Lonely Berserk. The night let low on the boulevards of Babylon. The blood flows free 'cause the boys play hard in Babylon. Don't you know, I kinda like it here. It is my kind of town. Yes, honey, I miss you. I miss you. What did you expect me to say? You want a straight answer? All right, I am not coming home, 'cause you know that there is nothing for me but you. Baby, I'm not your darling no more. Oh, maybe I never was. Hey, the night lay low on the boulevards of Babylon. The blood flows free 'cause the boys play hard in Babylon. Don't you know, I really like it here. Oh, it is my kind of town. And we'll be sailing slowly on that concrete sea to nocturnal haunts in a lower key. Strange voices in the night call out to me. There's a lot I meant to do for you in Babylon. Yeah, sometimes dreams just don't come true in Babylon. Well, I'll make it up to you someday, somewhere, somehow. Oh no, there ain't no saints hanging out on that street in Babylon. You'll hear no complaints on the satin sheets in Babylon. And there's more that I could say. Oh, you have to watch your tongue, Babylon. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
The great Phil Lee, everybody. Mighty fine, Phil. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was great. Folks, I want to remind you all about something here. We've got something going on, something very special here at Music City Roots. Are y'all familiar with the internet and all that kind of stuff? The downloads, you know what I mean? It's a new thing, Keith.
Yeah.
But we have a series now of download releases from Music City Roots for artists that have been here. And we've got them in different categories. We've got grass roots, soul roots, twang roots, and song roots. And you can download all these things. Just go to our website, musiccityroots.com, for more information and support the Roots vision and the artists. So look for links to iTunes and Amazon at musiccityroots.com/recordings. Now, speaking of the slash things and everything, here's a fellow that I've got the nickname Hashtag.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, Mr. Keith Bilbrey.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You fit in so many categories, Jim. That's the cool thing about you.
Well, thank you, Keith.
Little twang, little grass, just all over the place. It's an amazing thing. You know, folks, when people around the world think of Tennessee, the first things that come to mind are, of course, great music, like you're hearing tonight here in the old barn. Great food, well, there's no shortage of that around the Loveless barn. And, of course, what else? A little slow on your cue tonight, Myra. We'll have to work on that, dear. You've already been into the moonshine, haven't you? And, it's John's fault. He distracted you. That's why we're so thankful for our friends and sponsors at Old Smoky Moonshine, Tennessee's first legal moonshine, distilled in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, right there in the heart of the Smokies. Now, whether you're enjoying some of their classic White Lightning or tossing a couple of moonshine-soaked cherries in your Coke, they remind you to always shine responsibly. Old Smoky is now available nationwide through your local package store. Here in the barn, the Old Smoky Lightning Lemonade's a big hit on a warm night like tonight. Find out more at oldsmokymoonshine.com and make sure to like Old Smoky Moonshine on Facebook. You know, Griffin Technology is one of the world's foremost creators of accessories for home, mobile, and personal technology. They're all about communication, and so is our friend Craig Havhurst. He's over in the Griffin Technology chat room. How about it, Craig?
Thanks, Keith. Hey, folks, say hello to two guys from the band who's going to wrap up our night. They are from the band Seryn. This is Nathan Allen and Chris Simmelbeck. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Hello.
We had the pleasure of talking on the phone to get a sense of who the band was. The music, you know, it sort of speaks for itself, but at the same time, I kind of wanted to know what was behind it. And when you told me that a lot of you met at University of North Texas, I immediately went to the fact that that's got one of the biggest and best music programs in the country, jazz and classical, I understand. So was that part of why you were there? Was it the music school, or was it not?
I don't think any of us went to school thinking we were going to do anything with music. And then probably about 1 or 2 years into university, we all decided that we hated it. And that we would love to play music.
Let's take a vote.
Yeah, who'd rather play music
oh my gosh.
or go to class? So I think that pretty much summed it up. Our bassist did do a little bit of music theory, but...
Okay.
And our violinist is the only member of the band who studied music in school.
How about that? All right.
In university. He was a performance major.
Well, there's a lot of emphasis on the musicality part of what you all do, in addition to songwriting, but there's a lot of texture and a lot of putting things together. Talk about sort of the philosophy of that. What do you want to sound like?
Here, I'll let you take that one.
Well, he thinks.
I think part of that just comes from being ADD, you know what I mean? And wanting to just not being able to hold on to anything or hearing a sound and doing something and go, nah, that's been done before. Let's try something maybe that hasn't been done or we haven't done before. So once we try a combination, whether it's banjo and vibes or something else, we usually kind of try to move on or someone says, grab the accordion, see what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think our sound kind of comes from, sorry, I'll get closer.
There you go.
Our sound sort of comes from whatever we have laying around at the time. So
Cool,
a lot of the instruments that are on our album, like banjo and acoustic guitar and those kinds of things, are there because we had them laying around. And there's like accordion and a couple other things, but it was really us just sort of meeting each other and being like, we joined the band, and I was the drummer, and I was like, I have a banjo too, and they were like, oh, cool, bring it. So it was that sort of thing. He lived with our lead singer, and they had like, you know, endless amounts of toys and instruments. So
Oh, really? Yeah.
we just like to use whatever we can get our hands on.
That album is called "This Is Where We Are." Of course, now "That Is Where You Were." But when a band gets to make a first album, sometimes it's a complete, you know, throwing sessions together where you can, home recording. Sometimes it's gather the resources and go to a studio and really focus with a producer. What was the scenario for you guys?
Well, I don't think we sort of decided to make an album because we had to make an album. We started talking to people that wanted to work with us, and we, you know, wanted to come out with an album, so we had to make an album. But we really just got together to write songs and play shows, and yeah, I mean, that's about it. The album just sort of came together as a necessity. And I heard somebody told me a long time ago that you have your entire life to write your first album, and then you have, you know, limited time to write all the other ones after that. So I think we all just, you know, Trenton, our lead singer, had written some songs by himself, and Nathan had been writing some songs by themselves, and they decided to put the band together. And so naturally they just started working on stuff, and then as members, you know, as the band grew, then the songwriting process grew. And we still don't know what the songwriting process is, you know.
Still
Different every time. But
well, how are things coming together for these new recordings you're either in the middle of or about to do?
good. We start recording. Officially, we begin recording after this tour. We get home, and then the day after we get home, we go into the studio. And things are going well. Our new, I'm excited to hear, I think we're all excited to hear what people think of our new material, because it's been like two or 3 years since our last album came out, and it's still us. It's still us at its heart. But we, you know, we have more things in our room now. We have more toys to play with. So.
Yeah, right. Nathan, you all are on tour now. What's your circuit like?
I think we're here tomorrow night. We're in Nashville at the High Watt.
Great.
And that's going to be an exciting show. Cause a Scene, Nashville's putting that on, some friends of ours. Yep. And then we're going to head up to New York for a couple of days, and then we'll be in Washington, D.C., and then Atlanta, and then we're headed home.
Superb. Do a lot of touring for you guys? Has it been a lot of road work the last few years?
Yeah, I think when the record came out, we did like 135 shows that year, and I think last year we hit about 90 shows, something like that. So I think we're on track to do about another 100 again this year.
All right. Well, I'm glad Texas is such a small state, so close to everything. So very convenient for you guys. We could have you in Nashville. You're within a day's drive of
just one whole
12
day of
major
driving.
markets, they say. Yeah, great, awesome. Seryn, fabulous band. Going to hear you at the end of the night. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you.
Say
We're
thank
glad
you
to be here. Thank you,
to
guys.
Seryn. And we also say greetings to our friend who's had some new material lately. I hope maybe there's even, I don't know what you guys have for us in store tonight. From V80 Chili, Allie Sutton.
Hello, everybody. I've got some very special guests with me tonight. My mom, Cindy, is here, and her best friend, Bee, and my grandmother, Rita. Love you, ladies. Mwah. So glad you're here. And in fact, this is a fairly new jingle. It's a little story about chili, V80 chili. Many years ago in 1898, a family named V80 made a chili that was great. Sometimes it'd bean, sometimes without. Louisiana hot sauce made it melt in your mouth. Chili, V80 chili, yeah. I'm thankful for the chili. V80 chili, yeah. Chili. You guys like that? It makes me hungry. Well, this is our Music City Roots Season 1 on V80 vinyl. It's a double LP, and it's free. How you get your hands on one of these is you go to v80chili.com/shop, order yourself a case of V80 chili, and type in the promo code ROOTS. And with your order, you will get this double LP. That's Down Home Comfort Food, bringing you down home music moments here at Music City Roots. Now let's get back to those music moments with Mr. Jim Lauderdale.
Well, thank you, Allie Sutton. Thank you so much. Well, folks, the band taking the stage began around the core of guitarist Jay Rutherford and drummer Aaron Mortensen. Tapping the best of East Nashville's musician community and an old Nashville approach to recording, their debut album, Working Together, is coming May 28th on Electric Western Records. Please welcome Los Colognes.
And everybody know she paid $500. He just wants to close. I'm her man, but you're doing me wrong. Well, Jerry went down to the corner saloon to fix herself a drink. She paid up $20 and gave them boys a wink. I'm her man, but you're doing me wrong. Chili called at 2:30 and said she'd be home late. Well, if she paid a dime for every time, you know I'd be the king of Spain, 'cause I'm her man. But she's doing me wrong. You know what I did? That I went down to the corner saloon, pistol in my hand. She paid the price, and now them boy will finally understand that I'm her man. But she's doing me wrong. Jail and do away that key. And mama paid a visit, said, son, how can it be that I'm her man? Yeah, she's doing me wrong. Yeah, I'm her man. Yeah, she's doing me wrong. Lord, I'm her man. Yeah, she's doing me wrong. Thank you, folks. star. Working together is easy, but living together is so hard. Living together is hard. Maybe I'll run for miles, yeah, just to make it new. Maybe I'll say I'm sorry, well, if you say it too. Maybe I'll keep on drinking if you drive the car. Working together is easy. Working together is easy. Living together is so hard. Living together is hard. Thank you. Well, we're a band called Los Colognes, and we're representing East Nashville, Tennessee. It's wonderful to be here tonight. You fine folks doing all right? It's okay to dance. I give you permission on this one. Take a trip down from Chicago. Tell you all the places where we gonna go. Baby, get down. Baby, get down. Honey, get down, down, down. Baby, get down. I'm gonna take you out dinner. I'm gonna take you to the show, take you out dancing, to the go, go, go. Baby, get down. Oh, baby, get down. Honey, get down, down, down. Oh, baby, get down. Let's hear some slide guitars, eh? Ticket in the mail, you better make it quick. Put a stamp on the letter and give it a lick. Baby, get down. Honey, get down. Baby, get down, down, down. Well, get to the bus, get to your station. Just don't get in to any conversation. Baby, get down. Get down. Baby, get down, down, down. Baby, get down. To the station. Baby, don't get in to any conversation. Just get down. Baby, get down. Yeah, honey, get down, down, down. Baby, get down. Honey, get down, down, down. Baby, get down. Thank you, folks, for Los Colognes.
Mighty fine. Los Colognes. It's great. It's really great, Terry. Thank you so much. Los Colognes, everybody. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. It's great. Yeah.
Woo. Good stuff.
Yeah. They were putting the slow scald on that, weren't they?
Slow scald. Like a slow burn, huh?
Yes, exactly. Keith, I've got some questions for you and the audience.
Please don't make them too hard.
Is Music City Roots the highlight of your week?
Absolutely.
Are you excited about every show?
You bet.
All right, well then tell your friends with no effort whatsoever. Just hit the share button on our Facebook post so your friends will see them. And retweet our tweets as Wednesday gets closer. It really helps us out. So spread the word and help each show be a huge success. Speaking of a huge success, here's one right here. Mr. Keith Bilber.
Thank you. I'm glad you have that line instead of me. Retweet your tweet. Now, speaking of social media, if you're a part of over 3.5 million views on our YouTube channel, every week we post a video of a song from each artist that appears here on MCR, and you get to vote on your favorite Star 129 Gem of the Week. sponsored by Star 129 Diamond. So let your voice be heard. Check it out. See the amazing Star 129 Diamond, meanwhile, for yourself at select fine jewelers all over the country. And here locally in Nashville at Forster's Diamond Outlet at their beautiful showroom on Hickory Hollow Parkway. Go down and see Bob Forster. Take a look at the star129.com. You'll be amazed at the patented technology they've used to create a diamond guaranteed to come with the industry's highest rating for sparkle. That's what diamonds are all about. We'd also like to thank our friends at the Nashville Scene. If you want to know what's happening in and around Music City, look for a fresh copy at local newsstands every Thursday or visit NashvilleScene.com. Griffin Technology, proud to be a part of Music City Roots and privileged to make the gear you need to power, play, protect, create, and connect to the music that means the most to you. That's why their slogan is Connect to Play. And now over to the Griffin Technology chat room. Craig Haverhurst, how about it?
It's like we just left, but we're back, folks, with Phil Lee and his partner in music and God knows what else, Jan King.
Easy with that, something else.
Good to see you, sir.
I'm a 74-year-old man. There's not a lot going on here.
There is in your songs.
Where's my pills?
What always has blown my mind, Phil, since we met, is that we share a hometown of Durham, North Carolina.
You're a kid.
And we came out so similar.
When you get to be my age, it happens about 10 years from now, this is what you'll look like.
My memories of Durham are the smell of curing tobacco back when that was still allowed in this country. You drive downtown and those big old brick warehouses just wafting with the aroma of fresh cut tobacco. What do you remember about Durham?
We had moved on to pot by that time.
Right. It was the other smell I didn't smell when I was 10 years old.
You're hanging out with the wrong people.
So what set you off from in life and music? You were a drummer a long time ago, but I'm not sure if that was your first job.
Yeah, on the Daybreak Show. You remember Homer Briarhopper and the Daybreak Show?
You had a TV show? That's right, on like local TV.
I was a TV star, yeah.
Old hillbilly television, right?
You betcha. Clyde Moody, the Waltz King of the Nation, was on the show. Eddie Arnold dropped by a couple of times.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm making it up.
Was this the tail end of like an era? Did you feel like it was the, kind of the last hurrah of that early morning country sell the baby chicks on the air kind of thing?
That was I didn't realize it at the time, but that was the last dying throes of real country music. We do stuff for the sick and the shut-ins, and we do our gigs on the weekend, mobile home park openings and stuff.
Right.
But we would open up for the Farm News, Vern Strickland. I was making $65 a week.
And
it's been all downhill ever since, I gotta tell you.
About the same.
How much am I getting paid for this? Keith, can you? They said to get it from you.
Big bucks.
On the air, yes, commit. So, what was the change so you made your first record as a solo artist in 2000 or late 90s.
Yeah.
And you'd been at this game quite a long time by then. So what changed that said it's time to make a solo record and be my own songwriter?
Richard Bennett, the great producer and guitar player, had a serious lapse in taste and decided to produce the record. Why somebody gave me a record deal after all that time?
The Shawnee Records, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, big deal.
That was a prestigious operation.
Sure was. Yeah, I tried to get money from them. They said, they'd always say things like, we gave an old man a record deal. Just get the hell out of here.
Well, seriously, did you have like piles of songs lying around? Did Richard say, how did he know you and come to talk you into this?
He came into Steve Hunter. Remember Steve Hunter from Lou Reed, and who Jan introduced me to. A famous guitar player, put us together, and we were making the record. He came in and said, I got to step in before you guys hurt yourselves. Mm-hmm. So he stepped in, and then we got halfway through, the money ran out, and he just committed that way too. So he's still waiting to get paid back.
Richard's a brilliant man, so showing good taste.
He's in Europe with Mark Knopfler right now.
Oh yeah.
Istanbul.
Jan, you're playing some guitar tonight, and how have you known? Tell us a good Phil Lee story. What is Phil's essence as a musician?
I've known Phil for 30 years.
Right.
We started working together 30 years ago. I was singing background vocals for him, and he just, I walked into the studio, and it was just so natural. He just was doing Babylon, actually, that we finished with tonight. And it was...
a good song don't get old.
Yeah, it was just like Bob Dylan. Yeah.
And you're doing some nice country guitar picking up there too. Is that your thing? What else do you work on? What else do you do?
I have my own band in Chicago. I live in Chicago.
Chicago.
Yes, and I play guitar.
Fine place. And so there's a pretty new record out here called The Fall and Further Decline of the Mighty King of Love. What an optimistic title. It's got the best cover of the last 10 years of any album. Please
We
go check it
actually, because the cover was so good, we didn't put a CD in it.
Right.
That's an extra. No, you can actually buy them here. It's the longest title, I think.
It is?
record.
Yeah, I couldn't hardly fit it on my card.
But if you like, did you like Sgt. Pepper? Is that a good?
Pretty good record, yeah.
Pet Sounds. If you like those, you'll like this one.
Well, this has even more nudity. This record.
Yeah, but it's not my nudity. Even though I gotta say, I've got the body of a 15-year-old. It's the other half of the experiment that didn't work that scares people to death.
It's terrific. It's full of just when you think you're headed for tragedy, you get a belly laugh, and then the exact opposite happens the next song. I really love it.
I'm a genius. I just know what I'm doing. You know?
Well,
why is it taking you so long to figure this out?
You keep working at it. I've been a Philly fan since 2000. I first met you.
Yeah.
In East Nashville. So thanks for representing. Any plans you want to share before we go? Anything that's coming up?
I'm getting ready to go work on her record in Los Angeles next week. It's fabulous. If you like great music, if you're wondering where all the great music went to, it's at her house.
It's on that stool.
The movie, The One Who Loves You, is I've got a bunch of songs in. Joy Lynn's got songs in it. A bunch of people. And what else is going on?
You're going on tour?
I'm going on tour, yeah.
Going on tour?
America for the month of June, the United Kingdom, and Europe, July and August.
Yeah.
And I've been elected senator. A small state in Northern Ireland.
State of insanity.
Yeah.
Awesome. Phil, great to see you
Thanks
as always.
for,
Thank you for coming by, Jan.
This is a better looking bunch of people than
Phil
normally show up.
Lee, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Nobody like him. We appreciate
Jan
y'all.
King, the world's best playmate.
Left of the stage, Jim Lauderdale or Keith Bilbrey gets to go first.
Things that make you go, yeah. Okay, you're listening to Music City Roots on Nashville's hippie radio, WHPY. Bellevue, Nashville, 94.5 on your FM dial. And, of course, we're broadcasting live from the big old barn out behind the world-famous Loveless Cafe at the intersection of Highway 100 and the historic Natchez Trace Parkway. For more than 30 years, the Loveless Cafe has been shipping out those delicious preserves and country smoked meats you always hear us talk about. This year, think about giving someone something downright tasty with a gift from the Loveless Cafe. You can go online and view their new catalog of gift baskets at catalog.lovelesscafe.com or just stop by in person and check them out. We want to remind you that French's Boots is your headquarters this spring for the best deals on Dan Post, boots, and more. French's can outfit you from your head to the heel of your Dan Post boots at the best prices anywhere. Step out in style with a great selection of jeans, shirts, and hats. Let them custom fit you with that pair of classic Dan Post boots that you've always wanted. Downtown on 2nd Avenue, one of the best-looking boot stores I've ever seen in my life down there. Go down there and check it out. Go back in the fitting room where you can slide on them good-looking boots while you watch the river and the stadium and the whole thing. Makes good sense to shop at French's. Check out MusicCityBoots.com and click on Dan Post Boots. You know, speaking of, I'm smelling the leather here. Oh, it is so good. Look at that bag. That is one of Colonel Littleton's creations. Isn't that nice? Well, we were going to give it away tonight, but I like it so much, I'll just take it on home. Is that okay, Colonel Little? No. Actually, be sure and register because somebody is going to win this tonight. Near the end of the show, we'll be drawing. Make sure your name is in the pot, and you will go home with this beautiful, handmade leather case from the great Colonel Littleton. One of the reasons God made leather right there. Thank you, Colonel. Once again, you know, he mentioned Phil Lee being a genius. We actually have two geniuses on the show. The other one is, well, it's not you. I can't remember who it is now. Jim Lauderdale, of course.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you. Well, folks, our next guest is not only a songwriter and accomplished guitarist, he's a collaborator and an educator who seems to constantly find new ways to express himself musically. His most recent album is Courier, So get ready to be carried away. Here's Brian Ashley Jones.
This old boat got a fast lead. Just can't make it to the other side of this great river between you and me. You know it runs so deep and wide. Mama told me not to go there. Don't be hanging around that river. Stay on your side when you wanna play. But won't you meet me in the river? We'll go swimming in the tide. Well, let's just jump right in together. Some new things. We're beyond the dry land. Gotta keep this thing floating, baby, until we finally understand. This old boat got a fast lead. We can't make it to the other side, 'cause this old river taught you and me, well, how to wash away our foolish pride. So won't you meet me in the river? We'll go swimming in the tide. Let's just jump right in together and not get stuck on either side. Won't you meet me in the river? We'll go swimming in the tide. Let's just jump right in together
the river. Thank you. Thank you so much. That song was a collaboration with a gal named Donna Hopkins, and we wrote that one together about 10 years ago. She recorded it right away, and it's taken me this long to do my version, so it was one of those that kind of hung around for a little while, but it was always one of my favorites, you know, that I'd co-written. Speaking of which, about half this new record is co-writes, and here's another one. This is one I wrote with Susie Ragsdale. It's called Out of the City. Gotta get out of the city if you want to see the stars. You won't see them shining for the buildings and the cars. If you want to see that light, take a trip into the dark. Get out of the city if you want to see the stars. Don't get me wrong, I like the city fine. Couldn't wait to get here once upon a time. Mama watched me pack and said I was way off track when I swore I'd never come back across the county line. But now I find gotta get out of the city if you want to see the stars. You won't see them shining for the buildings and the cars. If you want to see that light, take a trip into the dark. Get out of the city if you want to see the stars. Bye-bye Broadway, my second home. I'll be back on Monday, so leave the lights on. But I got thoughts to think, a little moonshine to drink. I'm gonna catch my 40 winks and you'll never know I'm gone. I won't be long. Gotta get out of the city if you want to see the stars. You won't see them shining for the buildings and the cars. If you want to see that light, take a trip into the dark. Get out of the city if you want to see the stars. But the stars shine brighter and the grass grows greener. Air's so sweet and the water runs cleaner. The hustle and the bustle of the city makes you meaner. Gonna take the time to be a lover and a dreamer. Gotta get out of the city if you want to see the stars. You won't see them shining for the buildings and the cars. If you want to see that light, take a trip into the dark. And get out of the city if you want to see the stars. Gotta get out of the city if you want to see the stars. You won't see them shining for the buildings and the cars. If you want to see that light, take a trip into the dark. And get out of the city if you want to see the stars. If you want to see that light, take a trip into the dark. And get out of the city if you want to see the stars. Thank you. That was the title track of the new record. Very happy about that. How about the sound in here? Isn't it amazing? Wow. Well, I'm going to do one more co-write for you here. This is one that Jonelle Mosser and I wrote together. And it's called Fetch a Pail. We get lonely and our lips are so dry. I know we're thirsty for some meaning in our lives. The remedy is natural, the answer is all around. It's falling out of the morning sky and flowing up out of the ground. Won't you fetch a pail of water, baby? Fetch a pail with me. Give thanks to the Maker for all its purity. We'll have a drink together by an old magnolia tree. If you fetch a pail of water, baby, won't you fetch a pail with me? Yeah. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Our hearts are burning and the fever is also high. I know we're yearning for the passion we deny. Can't make it through a drought by waiting on the rain. So baby, get your loving cup and I'll help you drown the pain. Yeah. Fetch a pail of water, baby. Fetch a pail with me. And give thanks to the Maker for all its purity. We'll have a drink together by an old magnolia tree. If you fetch a pail of water, baby, won't you fetch a pail with me? Yeah. Just like Jack and Jill, falling down the hill, we drop the bucket from our hands. We cannot despair, because my love, I swear, we're gonna fill it up again. Yeah, we're gonna fill it up again, girl. Felt good to get that out. Thank you so much, folks. That's Miss Tisha Simmerl over there on the bass and the harmony vocals. And Marshall Richardson on the drums. We're going to do one more for you, and I can't wait to stick around and hear some more of this talent that's here tonight. How about all these great musicians? This one's called See You Wasting Time. Time and see things through. Well, I don't see that drive in you. Well, I'm working hard till morning light. You're still down Lord, I see you wasting time. I know for sure you ain't wasting mine. I see you, Lord, I see you wasting time. I know for sure you're done wasting mine. All your friends give me attitude. They call me crazy and they call me rude. There's more to life than hanging out, drinking time to an early drought. Ain't nothing wrong every now and then, a little leisure time with good old friends. But I can't see throwing life away without our hands passing every day. And I see you, Lord, I see you wasting time. I know for sure you ain't wasting mine. I see you, Lord, I see you wasting time. I know for sure you're done wasting mine. Well in my sight, there's fortune told for every man going down with an empty hand. I've only got one life to live, so make it worth all the time I give. For another year is come and gone, the summertime is surely passing on. I see you, Lord, I see you wasting time. And I know for sure you ain't wasting mine. I see you, Lord, I see you wasting time. I know for sure
Brian Ashley Jones. Fantastic. Thank you. Brian Ashley Jones. Yeah. Mighty fine. Mighty fine. Thank you so much. Well, it's time to turn things over to my
Turn things.
my old buddy, my old partner in crime, Mr. Keith Bilbrey.
The man you've never written a song with, the only person you've ever written a song. Anyway. You have options about where you choose to conduct your financial business as a not-for-profit financial cooperative. Ascend Federal Credit Union recognizes the importance of member loyalty. That's why they're pleased to once again reward members who bring the majority of their business to the credit union by returning $8 million in bonus dividends and loan interest funds. Over the past 7 years, Ascend's returned more than $39 million to its members. To learn more about Ascend, just visit them at ascendfcu.org. Federally insured by the NCUA, membership is limited. And folks, let's take a minute to talk about our friends at the Nature Conservancy. The Tennessee chapter of the Nature Conservancy is 35 years old this year. And just what have they got to show for it all? Well, how about 280,000 acres protected in Tennessee, 29 state natural areas, 10 wildlife management areas, and 2 national wildlife refuges, all in Tennessee. The Nature Conservancy protects nature not only for its own sake, but also because nature sustains our health and our way of life. The trees that clean our air, the rivers that supply our drinking water, and so much more. Visit nature.org/Tennessee to learn more about what the Nature Conservancy is doing for you and for nature here and around the world. Now it's time to get back over to Craig in the Griffin Technology Center, making it easier for you to connect to play. How about it, Craig?
Still glistening with sweat, Brian Ashley Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Way to get him standing up here in the barn.
Thank you.
Nice job, sir. Brought the tidy little power trio. Great acoustic bass player there and a drummer. That's all it just sounded very tight, like y'all play together a lot. What's the story with your band?
Yeah, we've been working together for a while, and couldn't think of anybody else I'd rather be playing with, so lots of fun.
You share a hometown with our good friend and sometimes guest host Peter Cooper of Spartanburg, South Carolina.
That's correct.
And that's a very musical town. Peter wrote a book to that effect, which surprised me, and I learned about all the musicians that had come out of there, Marshall Chapman and Marshall Tucker Band and a lot of stuff. So was it a musical place for you growing up?
It was. Absolutely. A lot of my friends were way ahead of me, actually. A lot of my peers were playing music when I was still more involved in sports, in elementary school even. One of my best friends could already play, guitar, and I was just amazed. And then, of course, getting on into junior high school and beyond, the minute I saw him playing at a party, and enjoying all the fruits of that, I just figured, well, that might just be for me. And so I went and took a guitar lesson or two, and I've never stopped playing. So.
Was guitar just kind of like it? Was it a very clear choice that was going to be your companion?
I think so, because most of my favorite, musicians coming up, there was always at least a guitar in the band. I was appreciative of drummers and keyboard players and fiddle players and everything else too, but it seemed to be the one I was drawn to.
And who's a guitar influence or favorite of yours who might surprise us outside of the top tier that we always talk about? I'm a guitar player, and you get those particular ones that you're like, I never would have heard of that, but for my buddy, and man, that changed the way I view the instrument.
Well, certainly there's many obvious guitar heroes that I could name off, but I really enjoy learning from people, my peers too, and certainly being around Nashville, there's so many great players. Guthrie Trapp's one of my favorite guitar players in the world.
Guthrie Trapp,
how about him?
Yes.
And I know I don't sound a thing like him, but I never miss an opportunity to go see him play. And we're approximately the same age, but I consider him one of my heroes too, and the list goes on.
Fair enough. When did you come to Nashville and why?
I moved here in '99 because I was writing a lot of songs and had started doing a little bit of session work in the Carolinas, and I just thought that there would be more, new and different opportunities at least for me to co-write and do session work here in Nashville and put together a touring band as well. So
you did want to be out there in front, being an artist with the band and doing that thing.
Absolutely, and it's been nice over the years to be able to have a little bit of both too as a side
Sounds
man.
like you have lots of irons in the fire, which is how a professional has to be now in the
pretty much
music world.
Got to keep juggling, yeah.
You talk about some of the collaborative work that you've done in the studios, sideman, or things that you put together that were kind of something that meant a lot to you.
Well, the co-writing, that I've been doing lately means a whole lot to me. And one of the reasons that I love being in Nashville so much, there's so many great songwriters. And as a co-writer and as a studio musician, I get to reap the benefits of that now and then, which is lovely. So.
Any production work? Are you into that side of the glass?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dare call myself a producer at all.
Okay.
But, I do have a home studio, and I do guitar tracks for people now and then from there. But primarily when I do session work, it's at a nicer studio than my own.
Okay, right.
And I don't dare call myself a producer. No way.
All right. Courier is the CD that's most recently officially out. Give us a little word about that, and then you've got a project that's just kind of so brand new it doesn't exist yet.
Right, exactly. Courier was an acoustic record, actually. It was Tish, upright bass player, and myself, and a dobro player. So it had a little more of the acoustic Americana grassy kind of vibe to it. And then this new album is more a full band production. And all the songs that we played tonight are on the new project. That album has not been released yet, but we do have advanced copies here tonight. And it's called Out of the City.
And then what do you hope for? So usually the year kind of unfolds based around a record. If you've got a release coming up, any specific plans, or do you sort of have the summer and fall mapped out for around the release of this project?
Well, there's definitely a lot of tour dates on the calendar, and that's BrianAshleyJones.com. There's a ton of tour dates there. Going to be out in Texas again, Colorado, DC. I'll be in Pennsylvania this weekend, near Philadelphia, actually out in a little west of there, New Holland, Pennsylvania, at Spring Gulch Festival. Right. And a lot more stuff coming up in the DC, Connecticut, New York, Colorado, Texas. So we'll get around a little bit.
You get around a lot. Fantastic. Well, best of luck out there this year.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, Brian Ashley Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoyed it.
All right. Well, folks, the leader of this next band launched her career with friends she made at Berklee College of Music in Boston. Her music and her band quickly earned raves from the public and the press alike. And now they're based in Brooklyn. They've continued to impress, playing all the major roots music festivals. And their new album is My Bonneville. We're delighted to welcome Annie and the Beekeepers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're delighted to be here. We're going to start out with a new song. It's a love song, and it's called Flying South.
Sorry, problems of being a drummer and a mandolin player.
You'll see why he's taking so long in a minute. I thought I knew how deep the ocean, how wild the heart inside could be. I thought I knew how soft the clay, how far your love comes calling to me. so much. Thank you. It's always nice to start it off with a little love song, but now we're gonna get a little darker on you guys. Hope you don't mind. Gotta get the yin and yang of it all. I'm going down to that place, going down by the riverside where I see my face in the water, and the tall grass grows where the river overflows, where the rain falls heavy on that place. I see my face in the water. Some days I get lost out there, where the river only takes water it's handed. So I'm gonna run down to that place where I can't find my own face in the water. Thank you so much. I'd love to just take a minute to introduce the people here accompanying me or joining me or however you want to put it on stage. This is Jenny McGagnon to my left. And on the drums, we have Javier Cruz. And mandolin and vocals, the jack of all trades. And this slice of American pie here is Keenan O'Mara. And this next song we're going to play is the title track to our new album called My Bonneville. And I wrote it about my very first car, which was the 1985 Bonneville. And when I was 16 years old, driving it around, it was an embarrassment. but I know at one point in time, that was a really cool car. Excuse me. So, you know, all the cool times had in that car were sort of like channeled through my year of 16 and 17. And this song is about all the good times in the Bonneville. You go climbing out the passenger door. Windows down, windows down. Travel sounds, travel sounds. Travel sounds with the windows down in my Bonneville. In the dark, in the dark. To me, I never had it better before. Then I had to let you go, climbing out the passenger we did in my Bonneville. Thank you so much. And that's a true story. Toward the end of my relationship with that car, the inside of the driver's side door would not functionally work, so I would pull up to school in my car and then climb out the passenger side door. And of course, nobody wanted to put any money into that car. We're just like, I'll climb out the sunroof if I have to. All right. We're so grateful to be here tonight. This is such a wonderful series of shows, and we really appreciate being here. And it truly is a well-oiled machine. We came here, we showed up, and we're like, this is awesome. This is the real deal. So thank you guys so much for having us and for being here. Ooh. You say you want to come on home, so come on home, well come on. In the day, in the night, I'm pressed to the words. Do you hear me keep saying, come on? I will only call for you. I will only call for you so long, so long. And you may never come to me. You may never come to me. Come on, come on. When her arms do tire and her love holds you lit, and you need something strong, well come on. If you can't pull through, there are things I can do, and then things I won't do. Come on. I will only call for you. I will only call for you so long, so long. And you may never come to me. You may never come to me. Come on, come on. You may never come to me. You may never come to me. Come on, come on. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you guys. Wow. Thank you. I've heard people say that the European crowds are the best, but I beg to differ. I think the Southern crowds are the best. All right, we're gonna play one more song, and Seryn is next, and they are so good. We heard them sound check, and it was awesome. So you have that to look forward to. Thanks so much again. We're Annie and the Beekeepers. She comes down from the upstairs, running fast, running scared. Wake up, mama, wake up, heart, there's a ghost ghost up there living in my bed. Well, I fought her once and I fought her twice, and I lost both times to her in spite of all your sound advice. Wake up, mama, wake up, pa, there's a ghost up there living in my head. And she said, ooh, we'll take me over this mountain. Oh, will I go wander all alone? That child has the wandering kind of mind that keeps her busy when she lies awake at night. And what I saw up there, she said, is surely dead. There's a ghost up there living in my head. And she says, ooh, will take me over this mountain. Oh, will I go wander all And she says, ooh, will take me over this mountain. Oh, will I go wander all alone? She comes down from the upstairs. Wake up, mama. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Oh,
Annie,
thank you so much.
Annie and the Beekeepers, ladies and gentlemen. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great. Thank you. Thank you. Annie and the Beekeepers.
Very good.
Yeah.
Standing ovation.
I'll tell you what, they are a very sweet group of people, the Beekeepers. You know, there's a great buzz going on about them too,
Yeah.
Keith. There's really
I
is.
asked the banjo player if I could borrow his comb.
I don't get it, Keith. I don't get it. That makes no sense whatsoever. Keith Bilbrey.
You're right. It makes no sense. You have options about where you to choose to conduct your financial business as a not-for-profit financial cooperative. Ascend Federal Credit Union recognizes the importance of member loyalty. That's why they're pleased to once again reward members who bring the majority of their business to the credit union by returning $8 million in bonus dividends and loan interest funds. Over the past 7 years, Ascend has returned more than $39 million to its members. Now, to learn more about Ascend, visit them at ascendfcu.org, federally insured by the NCUA. Folks, let's take a minute to talk about our friends at the Nature Conservancy. Tennessee chapter of the Nature Conservancy is 35 years old this year, and they've got a lot to show for it. Visit nature.org/Tennessee. Now, we always ask that you support our sponsors because they support us. They allow us to do our thing and bring all of you good people music in fresh and innovative ways, which is why we're so proud to have Nissan as one of our sponsors, considering innovation is what they're all about. Not only does Nissan support Music City Roots, they also sponsor a variety of other artistic endeavors throughout the community. As Music City Roots continues to shake things up in the world of music, Nissan's doing the very same thing in the automotive world. Just recently, Nissan unveiled the all-new Altima, a totally redesigned version of their iconic flagship model. And over the next couple of months, you'll see the new versions of the Pathfinder and Sentra, as well as bringing Nissan's Year of Innovation full circle. Never has Nissan's local motto of Nashville Proud been more timely and appropriate, because not only are their vehicles innovative, their relationship with this great city grows deeper every day. We hope you'll check out Nissan on Facebook and become a friend to them the same way Music City Roots has. Just type in Nissan to join the community. Find out more about their upcoming models and boundary-pushing innovations. Thank you from us, and thank you from Nissan. Nissan, Nashville Proud. And we'd like to give a shout-out to our friends at Digitech, the official office equipment provider here at Music City Roots. Just take a look at those beautiful programs for a sample of their quality. You can find them at digitechllc.com. Now back over to the Griffin Technology chat room, and there is Craig.
For one final chat of the evening, folks from Annie and the Beekeepers, please meet Annie Lynch. Hi. Thanks for the awesome reaction. That was a great set. You all are very kind. Welcome to Nashville. You said you've spent a little time here, have some friends here from your Berkeley, Boston scene, came south and settled in. What has Nashville sort of represented to you, meant to you over the years? It's a symbol as much as a city.
It's always been a place that's been one of my favorite stops on the road, and I have a lot of good friends here, and everybody who's here, it's just a thriving community, and I just always feel so like warmly welcomed here. And
well, good.
It's really, I love it. It's a wonderful, wonderful town.
Other places you've lived include Brooklyn now, Boston before that. Where you were at Berkeley?
I went to Berkeley. Yep.
Okay. And what's that like in that environment? It's famous for its jazz program. A lot of guitar players go up through there. Commercial music. And what were you looking for? And was it a surprise what you did find?
I wasn't quite sure what I was looking for, like I think most 17-year-olds when they're getting ready to go to college. Oh. But I was like, I know I want to play music. And I got there, and that's when the bluegrass music kind of started becoming an actual like established genre that you could study at Berkeley. So I did a bit of that, bit of songwriting, and I did a lot of like world music actually. But that's kind of where I became familiar with more like Americana roots and bluegrass music, which then kind of influenced the sound that you heard tonight.
How about that? What would your tastes and your record collection have looked like, say, 2 years before that, when you were getting going as a musician?
It was so varied, I guess. I really loved like Joni Mitchell, and grew up listening to like Joni Mitchell and Bob Dylan and Simon and Garfunkel. And I still put on a James Taylor record and rock out. I don't care. So I love, like, my parents brought me up right listening to that kind of music. So.
And music was in your life from the really early on, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Cool.
I started out playing violin and doing the whole Suzuki method thing, and all I wanted to learn were fiddle tunes, but nobody really knew better in Massachusetts to be like, oh, maybe she doesn't want to learn Suzuki method, maybe she wants to play fiddle tunes. So it would be like...
So you had an inkling that world was out there.
I did. It was a weird like desire. Nobody like ever taught me, nobody really exposed me to that, but I loved the sound of fiddle tunes. And my teacher, who was wonderful, she was just, her system was like, if you learn 3 Suzuki songs, you can get a fiddle tune. And I'd be like, okay. And then like I'd get my fiddle tune, I'd practice it all the time. And all week my mom would be like, Annie, you gotta practice your Suzuki songs so you can play the fiddle tunes. And in retrospect, I'm like, why wasn't I just playing the fiddle?
Let me find my own path here. What do you I think about this a lot. What do you think that sort of getting some training in theory and maybe composition and reading, how does that change when you become a band leader and start to work on arrangements? Because you guys clearly think this stuff doesn't just pop out.
Yeah. I mean, my bandmates are definitely more savvy when it comes to like the theory side of things than I am. But really the way that the main like strength from, really studying music is developing your ear. And that's really how we arrange our songs. We do it all by ear. I mean, there's obviously some like theoretical knowledge there as a foundation, but we don't write things out or notate anything. Sure. We just figure it out. And
more the Brooklyn way.
I guess so.
What's the Brooklyn scene like right now? It's obviously just been so poppin' for a few years now with kind of a new folk kind of thing. And what do you like about it?
I like Brooklyn a lot. I mean, I have been in Brooklyn for 5 years almost and was in Boston before. My heart's in Boston, for sure. But New York has everything you could ever want as far as music goes. I mean, you can go out any night and listen to any type of music you want, from some really experimental stuff to like some, more traditional sounds. So that's great. And there's just, everything's at your fingertips in New York if you can manage to scrape up enough money for rent.
Yeah.
So.
What about getting the band together to rehearse and actually making, sort of keeping everybody in touch with each other in a big city like that? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, New York's so huge. All my bandmates live in the same neighborhood, but I live probably 5 miles away from them, and it takes me almost an hour to drive to their house with all my gear. Yeah. It would take me just as long to ride the subway because of everybody makes it work. Like you grow a thick skin and you just make it work because if you love what you do, you figure out a way to make it happen.
Right on. Green light's on, but I want to hear about My Bonneville. The record's quite new and it's really cool. You can stream this record online, which is a treat, and it's terrific. So when did this pop out, and is it anything different for you, or what's special about it for you?
Yeah, I mean, when we recorded My Bonneville, we hadn't really been performing most of the songs, and so the recording process really informed our now like performances. And it's just different. We experimented a lot more than we did before in the production end, and that's what kind of sparked us. My old band formation was very acoustic, and now we have drums and electric guitar and this wonderful new group of beekeepers. So it was such a rewarding process, and I'm really proud of it.
Very good. Annie Lynch. Didn't want to get the last name wrong. Annie Lynch, one more time, you guys. I didn't.
Thank you.
Looking for an opportunity to do my Eddie Izzard, I'm covered in bees line. So I'll just throw that out there because I always wanted to say that on stage. Thanks, Annie.
You're listening to Music City Roots on Nashville's Hippie Radio, WHPY, Bellevue, Nashville, 94.5 on your FM dial. Yeah, you got some folks out there jamming with Hippie tonight, Jim. Have you registered for Colonel Littleton's leather bag? You're not eligible. Sorry about that. But everybody else is, so we want to make sure that they get in there and get their name in the pot.
Yes.
Or in the bag, as they say.
In the bag. That's right. No pun intended.
It's in the bag.
Yeah.
And I think the lottery's up to like $360 million tonight.
Wow. So. That's music to my ears,
So
Keith.
it could
What
be
else?
a leather bag, or it could be $360 million.
Yeah.
But be sure and register.
Yeah.
It won't cost you anything to register for Colonel Littleton's
It's free.
bag.
Absolutely
Are you
free.
ready to introduce the next band?
I am. Are you? Yeah.
Yeah,
I sure
I'm
am.
done.
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now.
Okay.
Well, everybody, thanks again for being with us for another great night of live music here at the Loveless Cafe. Are you having a good time? Well, let's bring this episode of Roots on home with a band whose reputation for their live show is simply stellar. That's right, Colonel Littleton, stellar. Their debut in 2011 was heaped with praise for its atmosphere and musical sophistication. We're just really thrilled to have them here. From Denton, Texas, please welcome Seryn.
distance will grow, but I'll always know. Less and less I sing as my skin begins to creep, for I recognize the truth about the permanence of me. We are paper thin, we're tearing at the folds. You're living if you're warm, but I'm just feeling cold. But I'm not dead, carrying all these fears on wings of lead. Course between the cracks, burn my bones to every blade. The less and less I sing as my mouth begins to feed on any ease I find and nothing that I need. The moment I am sure to second guess. I'll never learn to fly if I never leave this nest. The moment I am sure to second guess. I'm not looking for a home, I'm just looking for some rest. And like a wooden frame, a silk screen for a hide. From my pores I recreate the same old stupid lies. And with my teeth and with my nails I'll scratch your fine design. But I'm not dead, carrying all these fears on rings of lead. Cars between the cracks, burn my bones to every blade. But I'm not dead, carrying all these fears on wings of lead. Course between the cracks, burn my bones to every blood. And like a wooden frame, a silk screen for a hide. From my pores I recreate the same old stupid lies. And with my teeth and with my nails, I'll scratch my desires. As history comes and culminates, we're fed the things we're taught to hate. Unwanted, the path they carved to take us there's all politics and disrepair. We've grown accustomed to these stones, but life is more than shadow shows. I'm over it. It's darker when the fire dies, but only comfort by your eyes. It's not too late. Not dig a hole and run away. Anything but what they say. The closest of calm. Are we living too fast? We build from the ground with the answers we have. We're half sunken mud. Are we stuck in the past? We're still looking for signs. We're still following on our own.
Thank you so much. Like Jim said, we're Seryn from Denton, Texas. We're honored to be here. Thank you, guys.
We got one more.
Suspended in this endless flow, on and on until we know nothing now is ours to keep. As we taste the salt, the sea.
so much. Please check us out, SerynSounds.com. Thank you.
Wow. Seryn, everybody. It's fantastic. Seryn. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, now that's what we're talking about right now. Yes. Well, folks, don't go away now. We're getting ready to have the Loveless Jam, where anything might happen, and it probably will.
Probably will.
Now, in the meantime, let's get Colonel Littleton up here.
Yeah,
and Keith,
Colonel
you guys,
Littleton, come on
let's
up
get ready
here.
for this raffle.
Big hand for Colonel Littleton, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a winner out there somewhere.
How's your conduct?
My conduct is stellar.
All right.
Stellar.
Well, tonight's the night.
And there's a whole row of them, stellar. Right over
Stellar,
there.
folks.
Stellar.
All right.
All right.
How are things down in Linville?
You know, and things in Limbo never change.
I've heard that.
It doesn't change. As a matter of fact, in Limbo, you may not live to be 100, but it'll sure seem like it. So,
well, let's
do some draw. We're going to draw for
this is going to be
37 satchel right here. And out of the old Colonel mailbag, I'm going to let you draw.
Okay.
And
reach
in
way
there.
down in there.
Reach, wrong
Whoop,
bag.
wrong
There
bag.
you go, wrong bag.
I like that other one better.
You gotta go, all right.
And the winner is,
Is
drum roll, please.
drum roll.
Drum roll.
Drum roll.
Drummer. Drum roll.
Drum roll.
John Thomas.
Where are you, John?
Yes.
John Thomas.
He's from California.
California.
DeCasa, California. Is that right? He left?
Oh, well, we'll still get it to him.
Yeah, we've got his address. We know where he is.
We can find him.
We have his phone number. Well, Colonel Littleton, there you go.
Keith, thank you.
As he rides off into the sunset. Yes, sir. Craig Havikhurst, how about it?
Keith, it's been a great show. That was an awesome set to close out.
Boy, it
Beautiful
was.
stuff from Seryn. Thanks to them. Thanks to all our artists who played tonight. Annie and the Beekeepers were here not too long ago. Brian Ashley Jones, Los Colognes, and of course Phil Lee, who you never know what he's going to say next. And folks, we got a Blackstone Brewery lineup next week, of course, and we're excited to welcome to the show for the first time Casey Wasner and Sarah Sims. I'll be seeing them for the first time. Then a band where we're going to be welcoming back good friends of mine and the show. Great bluegrass act who's going to be all over your radio dial and festival circuit this summer. Frank Sullivan and Dirty Kitchen with a brand new album that is fantastic. And the Music City Roots debut of a duo that's getting famous because of the songs they're writing for the show, Nashville, Striking Matches. I'm hearing great stuff about that duet. Be sure to get your tickets online, musiccityroots.com. We're down by Grimey's, you know, Hams and Jam store. Always good to drop by there. So, yeah, that whole thing was so symphonic, Keith. I feel lifted. I feel like I'm about 30 pounds lighter, floating.
I was at the Nashville Symphony last night, and Music City Roots tonight.
Did you go there?
Well, they were playing down in Shelbyville, and I went down to see them.
Cool.
It was good stuff. And tonight was good stuff, too. And a big thanks to our sponsors, French's Shoes and Boots, The Loveless Cafe, Old Smoky Moonshine, Griffin Technology, Nissan North America, Star 129 Diamond, Vietti Chili, Ascend Federal Credit Union, and the Nature Conservancy. Give them all a big hand. They allow us to do what we do. Would like to thank all the gang at Sound Image for taking such good care of the live sound here in the barn. You'll find these guys on tour with just about anybody who's anybody, with offices from Los Angeles to Nashville. We're darn lucky to have them here with us. If you need professional sound, large or small, take a look at sound-image.com. They're a proud sponsor of this final segment. That's when all of our guest artists who we just mentioned have returned to the stage for the Loveless Jam. We encourage all the musicians to stretch out on a favorite song, and to find out what that song is going to be, up to center stage, center mic, Jim Lauderdale. Hadn't he done a great job tonight?
Thank you, Keith. Thank you. That's very kind of you. And Keith, of course, just like clockwork, we're ready to go right when you throw it back over to us.
The hour has arrived, yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, the good fine folks at Seryn and Annie and the Beekeepers both suggested this song. And this one is an old a song that Marvin Gaye first made popular and John Fogerty played. It's called I Heard It Through the Grapevine. Sing along with us. Bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make you blue with some other guy you knew before. Between two blue skies, you know I love you more. It took me by surprise, I must say, when I found out yesterday. And don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine? How much longer would you be mine? Through the grapevine, and I'm just about to lose my mind, honey, honey, yeah.
I know man ain't supposed to cry, but these tears I can't hold inside. Ain't that much to me?
Should I know what you hear? I can't help being confused. If it's true, won't you tell me, dear? Do you plan to let me go for the other guy you loved before? Don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine? Be mine. Oh, I heard it through the grapevine. My mind, honey, honey,
You wonder how I knew about your plans to leave me blue with some other guy you knew before. To the two of us guys, you know I love you more. It took me by surprise, I must say, when I found out yesterday. Don't you know I heard it through the grapevine? Not much longer would you be mine. I heard it through the grapevine. Oh, and I'm just about to lose my mind, honey, honey, yeah. Oh, would you be my baby? Oh,
Told me yourself that you love someone else.
production of Hang Dye Media. Executive producers John Walker and Todd Mayo would like to thank Justin Harvey from PBS affiliate WNPT here in Nashville for the help down in Miami. We're looking forward to the big MCR nationwide TV launch this fall. And of course, a big thanks to all our friends at Hippie Radio. Don't forget to join me for the Roots Radio Hour tomorrow night and every weekday at 7 p.m., except for Wednesdays, of course, where we'll explore the roots of Americana and rock for hippies of all ages. Hippie Radio 94.5 on your FM dial. We're glad you joined us this week for Music City Roots, live from the Loveless Cafe. I'm Keith Bilbrey, and from the edge of Music City, good night.
Hang Dye.